This is gonna be very, very fidgety and everything. I did a very, very dumb thing. I am not recording on my camera, but I screenshot the questions for this tag on my phone and I'm recording on my phone. So smart, right? Hey everyone, it's Arad now. I was tagged by Dane Reads, Dane at Dane Reads, for the concert book tag. This tag seems super fun, and even though, I don't think I've ever actually been for a concert in my life. I've always wanted to, but I just haven't. This tag just is really cool. So there are 10 questions, and I will be answering them. Let me see if I can figure out how to see the questions without stopping the video. I don't think it's possible, but let's see. So it is not possible to check the questions while still recording. But anyways, I guess I'm just gonna keep pausing and restarting this video to answer questions. The first question was tickets, the last book you either bought or checked out from the library. The last book I checked out from the library was the e-copy of Mary B by Catherine J. Chen. I still have not finished it. I'm about halfway through. It's just not what I expected. I don't know. I think just something about it isn't what I really wanted. It's decent enough. It's just, not wonderful. The last book I bought, I think, was A Gathering of Shadows. No, wait. I don't remember. It's been a while. I bought a book subscription box recently. Does that count? Okay, I don't remember. It's been a while. I put myself on a book buying ban. So the library book would be the one we'd go with, right? Mary B, and also the audiobook for The Bone Witch, which also I still haven't finished. Sorry, Kate. The next question is The Crowd, a bookish community you are a part of. It can be in real life or it can be online. In real life, I have a few friends that I do enjoy talking about books with, my best friends and my sister-in-law actually, and then a bunch of cousins and nieces that have started reading or do read, and I am constantly just like, oh, you should read this, you should read this. Online, there have been a whole bunch of people. I don't know if there's a name for it, but the book community on Twitter, there's this small group of people that I love talking to, because they're always promoting and recommending diverse reads, and they're so passionate about books. I'm not gonna name anybody because I'd probably end up missing someone out, but I do really love the people I interact with online as well. And yeah. Third question, sing along, a book you constantly quote. I know I am not saying the questions completely right, but bear with me. A book I constantly quote. I do actually constantly quote Harry Potter sometimes, especially the first one. But that's more because I like to see whether I can actually remember things. Constantly quote that I like to do, but I only have a few friends that catch the references. The Princess Bride. I do like to quote The Princess Bride, but more the movie than the book. I don't actually quote books because most people don't get my references. Yeah. Sold Out, a book you really want to read but haven't gotten to yet. There's a lot in this list. Let's start with There's Something About Sweetie, which for some reason I still haven't gotten my hands on. I also want to say A Spark of White Fire. I really, really, really want to read that, but it's not available in local bookstores, and ordering online with exchange rates and everything does end up becoming very expensive. So I'm actually waiting for Black Friday, and then I have a long list of books that I'm just gonna order. And those two at the top of that list. Next question: The Band, a book series or a book that you wish more people would read so you could fangirl about it together. Okay, I really wish I had more people to talk to about Patricia C. Reads' Dealing with Dragon series. I don't know if anybody's actually read that much. Or A Tale of Time City by Diane Wayne Jones. They're both books that I read as a young teenager, and I loved them a lot, a lot, a lot. I own the Dealing with Dragon series, and I borrow A Tale of Time City from the library sometimes whenever I need to pick me up. And they're a lot of fun. There's written really well, and I have no one to talk to about them, and it's really sad. Next question: The Encore, a book or book series that you wish had a sequel so that you just had a bit more. A Tale of Time City, possibly. I did really enjoy that book, and I wouldn't mind going back to that world and learning what happened next and everything. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with that. Next question: Opening act, a book you weren't expecting to love as much as you did. I know for a fact there's a book that I read recently that I didn't expect to love so much. Oh, okay. A Throne of Swans. This book comes out next year. It is a YA retelling of the Swan Princess. Something that I did not actually know until I was about 50 pages in, because I'm so smart. But it was so good. I finished it in I think 3 days. The only time I really could pick it up was when my daughter was napping, and when she woke up I would have a hard time putting it back down. It was really good, and if you are a fan of YA fairy tale retellings, YA fantasy with politics and magic and intrigue, I highly recommend this book. I do not know how long I have to wait for the sequel, and that kind of bumps me out. The Merch Table, a piece of bookish merch that you love, that you own, or that you want to own. Okay, so I design bookmarks, and I do really like my Marauders map bookmarks that I designed. And I own a couple of candles that I really enjoy I really like as well. But I've always really wanted an enamel pin of a quote from like one of the more obscure books I own or read, like an enamel pin from something by Sandhya Menon or something by Roshni Chokshi. Like, I would love to see more diverse bookish merch, and I would really, really love to get my hands on or design an enamel pin with quotes from one of Sandhya Menon's books. Like, after Of Curses and Kisses comes out, I'm going to sit down and try and design an enamel pin for Of Curses and Kisses. I'm going to do that. We are on the last two questions, guys. Second last is Concert Friend, a book you bonded with someone over. Oh, wow. I'm blanking on this. I think I started talking to a couple of people online because of some of the more diverse reads we read. I know I talk to them now about more diverse reads. I know there's this one friend I have online that I love talking to about Sandhya Menon's books, because we just both love her so much. In real life, the cousin who first lent me the Dealing with Dragon series, I still constantly go to her for book recommendations sometimes. But yeah, she's a bit older than I am, so we weren't as close. And then I remember going through her bookshelves once while she was studying in Singapore for her university, and she saw me there and she was like, you know what, I think you will enjoy this book. And then she lent me, I think it was actually a Sleeping Beauty retelling, and it was good, but at the time I didn't appreciate it as much. It was a bit dark, and I was maybe 11 or 12 and I did not want dark books, but it was a good book and I recently revisited it and I really enjoyed it. And then when I finished that, she was like, okay, now these books, she got them from her home and she brought them to Singapore for me to read, which I thought was really sweet. And from there, she's just constantly been a really reassuring presence that, hey, you know, no matter what life throws at you, you've got someone who in the family who understands that you just sometimes want to sit down at the side and read. And she was someone to sit with even when everybody was around. We'd just sit together and we'd both have books and we'd be reading and everybody would be like, okay, don't bug them. It really did give me a bit of a bond with her that I wouldn't have otherwise had. And I really appreciate it. The last question is tour announcement, a book that you are looking forward to. Again, I have a long list. Next year, Of Curses and Kisses comes out, which I've had a chance to read the arc of, and it's really good, and I recommend it if you are a fan of fairy tale retellings. Again, A Throne of Swans comes out next year. I think later this month, Realm of Ash comes out, and I'm very, very excited for that. I am hoping to get my hands on it as soon as the paperback copy comes out, so you know I have the matching set, because my copy of Empire of Sand is also a paperback. Oh, what else is there? There are a number of books coming out, and 10 Things I Hate About Pinky, that comes out next year. I'm very excited about a lot of books. Children of Vengeance and Virtue comes out. I'm not gonna sit and list books. No, I'm not gonna do that. So there are a lot of books I'm really excited about, and let me know some of the books you are excited about for 2020 or even next month. I don't know if I'm going to tag anybody. If I do, I will leave the links in the description. But if you like the questions of this tag, you are intrigued and you want to answer them, consider yourself tagged. And yeah, let me know what some 2020 releases you're looking forward to. Let me know a backlist book that you've been wanting to read but you haven't yet. And like, subscribe, hit the bell button for notifications. I will hopefully be back to filming in my usual area soon, and I will see you next time. Bye.